welcome back. Our taste of the week is a graduate of medicine from the University of Lagos. Okay, so we are not talking health matters here. She's an actress and a producer. She's started nursing her passion for acting while in secondary school and participated in stage plays into her university days in 2011. Now, her name is Omeili. Kiki Omeili auditioned for and got the role of Debbie in the TV series Behind the Smile. And in 2012, she starred in her debut feature film, Married But Living Single. Thank you so much, Kiki, for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Good morning. And it's sunrise on your,
yes, so I'm looking all
it's
sunny.
bright.
It's great.
Good to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Wow. So let's talk about your journey. You started nursing this from secondary school.
Yes.
And, you know, it's been how many years after now?
Oh, it's been quite a while. It's been quite a while. But, I mean, I guess I just always loved performing, and I'd always loved the arts. And even though I went in the direction of medicine in university, I just came full circle and came right back to my
Because I was wondering, from stethoscope and specimen to acting.
Yeah. I mean, that's passion, right? So you're trained in one, and then you're passionate about one. So, yeah.
Trained in one and passion, and you followed your passion now.
Passion, yeah.
For you say it's quite some time now. That time.
Oh, it has been a while. I mean, since secondary school. Secondary school was maybe 20 years ago. It was a while.
So
yeah,
how has the journey been? You know.
Well, obviously, it wasn't easy at first. Especially trying to break into the entertainment industry where people feel like you are misplaced. Like, what are you doing here if you're coming from medicine? But I mean, to God be all the glory, here I am today. And not only have several years of acting experience, but also producing now. So that's a big deal.
You have graduated to being a producer. Did you have to go through any training in that regard, or you know, you just learned on the job?
Well, you learn on the job. Basically, in Nollywood, you get on so many sets. You see how things are done. I mean, you see what's done right and what's done wrong, and what you would do better if you had a chance to do it yourself. You see the kind of scripts that you get, the kind of movies that are made in Nollywood, and you decide for yourself what kind of movies you want to put out there. And for me, being a trained medical doctor, I decided that I want to put out entertaining movies, but movies that would also have something to teach health-wise. I mean, if I'm going to produce a movie, there should be something different about it, right?
You know, practice medicine, you know, through acting. That's
exactly.
good. That's
what
interesting.
I'm trying to do, yeah. And that's what I have done with my first production ever, which was a short film. It was called Unprotected in 2016. And I've also done that with my debut feature film production. It's called Run. And it's coming out on Friday, the 23rd of August. I'm very excited about it. Yeah.
Okay, so you in 2012, you won at the 17th African Film Awards, the Best Supporting Actress for your role in Sting. Tell us a bit about, you know, that movie and, you know, how you got...
Okay, so, I mean, Married But Living Single was my first movie ever. And I won, like you said, the African Film Awards in London for that film. It was very encouraging because it kind of told me that, okay, you seem to be moving in the right direction. If for your first film, you're winning an award in London, you know. So, I mean, that pretty much put me out there and got me noticed. And like I said, it encouraged me, you know, just to work harder and to do better. But it was very encouraging. It just tells you you're doing something right and that you're walking in the right direction.
I think I watched, if I remember well, the Married But Living Single, and I think you played the role of the lady that was...
that was after somebody's husband.
The side chick?
Yes, you remember.
Yeah, it was
in 2012.
Benjamin, Joseph and
yes,
Akindele,
exactly.
Funke Akindele.
Yeah.
So, how do you separate your reality, as in who you are, Kiki Omeili, from the roles that you play?
Oh, it's very easy. I mean, you're nothing like the characters you play. As a matter of fact, I always say that
Sometimes
I like...
it doesn't appear like that.
Oh, no. You're nothing like the characters you play. But I think it's a compliment when people think you're like that, because what it means is that you have interpreted that role to the extent that they think that's who you are. So you've done a good job, right? So as a compliment, as an actor, rather, that's a huge compliment that people think you are the way you appear on TV. But I mean, by and large, you're nothing like the characters you play. I actually like to play characters that are so far removed from who I am, because that's what gives me a challenge. If I had to play like a medical doctor, I mean, it's kind of boring because you're already pretty much that, so you know how to be that even on screen. So it's easy to separate who you are from your characters because they're nothing like you anyway. And as soon as they yell cut and you get upset, then you're right back to living your regular life.
Because there was one particular behind the scene that I saw, not of you, but one of the actors. She was, I think she was supposed to cry, and then she had to, like, okay, hold on. Then she got into, it was like something spiritual, like, got into that mode and then started crying. And then when it was time to cut, then it took some time for her to calm down.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, is this, you know, more than what we see?
Because acting is not pretending, acting is being. So you're supposed to be the character, and at that point in time, whatever that character is feeling and whatever that character is going through, you have to be feeling and going through. So, I mean, if you're not pretending, then you're genuinely going to be upset about whatever, and you're going to cry. I mean, actors we go through a lot emotionally.
What is it, that experience for you that you can't forget, you know, one of this kind of, you know, character that you had to fall into?
Character moments. Okay, so there was a movie that I was shooting in Benin. It was a while ago, about 4 years ago. And my character's husband had died, and she was being accused of killing her husband. You know, the whole Nigerian thing. And then my character was crying and, you know, talking about how it wasn't her. You know, she was just really crying and crying and crying. And then I got so into it that even when they yelled cut, I was still crying. Like, I couldn't quite, you know, come out of it immediately. It just really took a while. I'd gone over the edge, and it took a while for me to bring myself back. So that happens a lot to actors.
I've wondered a lot that how did you just start crying when this is not real?
Well,
and if you don't have to use, you know, any other thing, you know, like perhaps you have the onions just behind.
No. It's what we do. So when we need to go into character and feel that emotion, then we do.
Let's look at Nollywood. Okay. Nollywood. And some people have said, of course, it has evolved over the years. What's your own assessment?
Yes, my assessment is that Nollywood has evolved. We have gotten a world better at what we do. We still very much do drama because that's what the audience largely can relate to. But in terms of technicality, I think we really have evolved. We've grown in leaps and bounds, and we're only going to get better. Our work is accepted into film festivals internationally. For example, Run has been accepted into about 7 film festivals internationally. So yes, we are growing and we are getting better, especially technically.
Okay. All right, so I was going to ask you a question, but we have to take a break now. So I'll take my chance, so we'll come back. Welcome back to Sunrise. We have in the studio our artist of the week, Kiki Omeili, an actress and producer. So I was going to ask you, so you had the pleasure of being on set, not exactly knowing what the producer of your first film passed through. Now you're doing your own work. So tell me what shock you had having to source funds, location, and all that. I believe it's a different world altogether.
It is an entirely different world because, like I say, as an actor, you come on set, you do what you have to do. At the end of your contracted time, you leave, and then the next time you hear about the movie is when the movie is coming out and the producer gets in touch with you to do some kind of PR for the film. But as a producer, you stay with the movie from inception to finish, and it's a totally different ball game, and it's a lot harder, if I may say so. But I wasn't too shocked because, like I said, I'd had a lot of experience on film sets, and I kind of knew what, you know, producers pass through. So at the time I was passing through it, I was not too shocked because it was kind of expected. I'd like to say it's really not easy producing. So whatever it is you produce, it has to be a project that you believe in, because that's what's going to see you through to the end. Like you said, sourcing for funds, sourcing for location, sourcing for the right cast, trying to make sure everything goes right on set, and most of the time you're still acting on the same sets as you're producing. So it's really not easy, but I would like to say it's worth it. Yeah.
Let's see. You were talking about your latest work,
Yes,
Run.
Yes.
Can you give us a brief on it? So the
right.
lady is running from pillar to post. Tell us a bit about this movie.
Yeah, so Run tells the story of a young lady who's very uptight, lives a very structured, very disciplined life, who one night goes running and witnesses something that she's now on the run for her life and just trying to get her life back to normal. So yeah, so in Run, she's basically running from pillar to post, encountering all kinds of unsavory characters. She goes through a lot, and it's not a world that she's used to. I mean, being very uptight before all this happened to her. So it's actually quite interesting.
Why must people come to see this movie?
Well, people must come to see Run because it's different. It's kind of like a deviation from the norm in terms of the fact that it's like 98% exterior. Almost everything happens at night, and almost at every point in time there's something going on. And then it pretty much has something to teach in terms of health because, like I said, being a doctor, whatever it is I produce, I must infuse a health lesson or two while entertaining people. But the trick is to do it in such a way that they don't even know that they're being educated because, I mean, they're so entertained, exactly. So they must come out to see Run because they'll have a good time and they'll learn something in the process. Yeah.
And I thought that the movie we saw first, that one was a narration.
Yes, it was a narration. It was a short film,
it was a short film.
About 12 minutes long.
Okay,
I produced it in 2006. This is a feature film, and it's in cinemas from Friday the 23rd.
Is it one that when I start watching, then I know where it's going to end?
Well, no.
Because, you know, you have that issue with films.
I don't think she'd have told you that.
Well, yeah, true, because if that's what it was, I definitely wouldn't have told you. But I think I can assure you that, I mean, with Run, you're going to keep guessing, is this going to happen, is that going to happen? And then something will just happen to throw you completely off balance, and you'll be like, oh, wow, I was not expecting that. So it's exciting like that, yeah.
Thank you so much, Kiki Omeili, an actress and producer, a medical doctor. Let me not forget that. I'm sure Daddy and Mommy will be proud of that.
Oh, they are very proud.
Thank you for coming on the show, and we wish you all the best.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And that's our show for today. It's been Sunrise on Channel Television. We've got to run. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us. I am Yomi Otaibe.
And I'm Kayode Alayande. Like I always say, it's always exciting to know that someone is watching and that you've enjoyed the show.